Hey AA family, we are back with another video. I am alone because, as you can see on the title, today is about how I met my husband. And you know I'm gonna keep it real and juicy. Kev be leaving out details, be sugarcoating stuff. Not me. I keep it real and I'm gonna let y'all know how it is. So, but I will say the disadvantage about my stories compared to his, I got short-term memories. So some stuff I don't remember or I don't know like the exact dates, but I know all the good stuff. So me and Kelvin get this question a lot. Like, how did we meet? Like, what made us want to get married and all this stuff. So we actually met in Springfield, Illinois at UIS. We both was attending there. He was a transfer student and I was a freshman. So at that time, my life was a mess. Like, my life was a complete mess. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. It was just a lot going on as I'm thinking back on it. Because first of all, I just had my baby in March and I was at school in August. And I just had Ethan in March. And then at that time, I just started a new serious relationship before I went to school. So it was just like so much. And then I was away from my baby. So because my family housing wasn't ready, I had to leave Ethan behind with my mom for a little while until my family housing was ready. So I had all of this going on at the time while attending my first year of college. But I was so determined to, I was so determined to do my first year of college and just attend college in general because I didn't want to be like the typical statistic. I didn't want to be the girl who get pregnant in high school and don't finish high school, who don't experience college, and you end up just staying in the hood and not really having much for yourself. I had my mindset. I didn't want that for me and my baby. So regardless of all the obstacles that came my way, I had skipped my own cell phone to college. So that's what I did. So keep that in mind. I had so much going on at the time, but I just was determined. So, because I had a little one. But anyway, so since I was a freshman, you had the gen ed classes that you take. And because Kev was a transfer student, he had to take some gen eds because, well, he was more so like an international student. So how UIS do it, I don't know if all colleges do it like this, but like when you're an international student, they kind of make you take like English and communication and stuff, regardless like how much you had, how many classes you had at your old school. It's just a requirement when you come into to the United States, I guess, or whatever. So we had both of those classes together. And I actually noticed him more in my English class because he always came in there late. Like, he was 9 times out of 10, Kelvin is late. And it was to the point like I would look out for him or I would look for him and I'll see like, oh, he haven't made it yet, or oh, he haven't, he didn't make it to class. Because he always creeping himself in a classroom late. And then I don't really remember what made me like notice him. I think, well, for one, like I said, he was always late to English class. And then he always wore the same pair of shoes. His favorite pair of shoes was those Adidas Simones or something like that, some soccer looking shoes. He always wore those shoes, and his shoes used to be tied so tight, trumping up in the classroom. And I always remember that. And I think like one time he talked or like introduced himself or something, and I noticed he had like an accent, and I'm like, where the hell he from or whatever. And then in English, like with me in English, I'm pretty good at English. It's just that I don't know how to put things. I kind of write how I talk, but far as like the ideas I have in writing, understanding what the author is saying in writing, I'm very, very good at that. So I do pretty good in my papers. Kelvin, on the other hand, he used to get bad grades in English. Like, he used to get bad grades, and he used to be so frustrated. Like, why is this keep happening? Why is I'm getting like these bad grades? So I wasn't good in math, and you know, being in English, we kind of did like a lot of like hands-on like group activities. So me, him, and Lala, and I think someone else, what's her name? I can't think of her name. It was another girl. It was a Nigerian girl. She was always in a group. We was always like in the group together. And you know, that's how I kind of like got to know like more information about him. So I noticed that like he be on at the school from like 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning all the way to like 5, 6 o'clock at night till his ride come. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, you be here all day like this, like till your ride come, and you don't eat? And I'm like, no, like that's not okay. I'm like, come every day after English, I go grab something to eat. So I'm like, you know, come with me, you know, food on me, you know, I have the little school little lunch card, whatever that thing called. See, look, I don't even remember what the school lunch meal plan thing called. So I'm like, yeah, I got the school meal plan, you know, I'll give you, you know, something to eat on me, no problem. So from there, like, I was able to like also get to know like more information about him, whatever. So I seen he was like nice or whatever, and like and it was just interesting to know something about like another culture. You know, us Americans, we always hear like these stigmas against like Africans, like, but I never really met one in person or was able to talk to one like I did with Kelvin. So I guess I was really fascinated by that. And then I noticed like we kind of like, you know, he always say hey, and but then I noticed like he always wanted to like hang around me, and I'm like, okay, like, is I'm giving him like the wrong impression that I like him? So like every time I leave class, like, he want to know what I'm doing, or like where you know, what I'm up to and stuff like that. And mind you, I told you guys I was in a relationship, so I'm like, okay, is I'm giving this guy like the wrong impression, or like is I'm giving him the wrong signal? Because I don't want him to think that I like him or I want something with him. So that's what I thought. And so I had stopped being as friendly towards him, and I kind of like avoided him in a nice way. But to Kev, he said I was being crazy. But anyway, then fast forward like 6 months later, like that next year, I had decided that I would not be able to attend UIS anymore. Ain't no point of me like wasting all this money and I'm not like wanting to do this. Like I can't even focus. I can't even think straight. Like I have to survive off 2 jobs. I have a small baby I have to care for. I have to figure out childcare for him. It was just so much going on at the time that I would not be able to really focus on my studies for real. So I'm like, it's no point of wasting my time and these teachers' time who's willing to work with me. So I'd rather just go home and attend a community college. So that's what I end up doing. And then when I was at home for a little bit, I was in the midst of about to get an apartment with my best friend at the time, Brianna. And then I was on Instagram, and then I end up seeing a picture of Kelvin. And I'm like, wait a second. This Kev from, you know, the classes I have with him. Like, dang, like I haven't seen him in so long. So mind you, the last time I seen him was my first semester. So about this time, it's like, what? 2 semesters done went by, 2.5 semesters done went by. So I'm like, dang, like, you know, what's going on with him? Like, what happened with him? Is he still at UAS? So I was just curious. So I had messaged him like, "Hey, you," like and I think I ended up like saying something that he would say to me like when he see me or something like that. So I was like, "Hey, you," like that, and then from there it just took off from there. So I think I was the one that initiated, like, just text me instead of like going back and forth in the comments or going back and forth in the DM. I was like, just text me and update me on like what's going on, like what happened, because he told me he wasn't at UAS anymore. So at this time, I'm not in college anymore. I'm back at home. I'm attending a community college. I'm working full time while Ethan is in daycare. I thought being home, I was going to get way more support and way more help than I thought, but it didn't really work out that way. So now I'm rerouting my whole plan. So then we end up talking. We end up like texting. Then we texting, end up calling. And it was just really refreshing talking to him. Like, it was just so, like, we got along like so natural. Like, pretty much like what he was going through is like what I was going through. Like, I was trying to figure my stuff out. He was trying to figure his stuff out. And he was telling me like the things he was going through, and I was telling him the things I was going through. So it's like we was like venting to each other and like coming to another for advice. It was like really harmless, but it grew into something way more. And I was in denial about it for a long, long time. Mimi, you like him, like just admit it. And I did not want to admit that to myself because Kelvin was like not my type. Like, he was, I didn't know much about like dating a guy from another culture. He was he was hours away from me. I did not want to accept at the time like I wanted to be with him, or I liked him more than just like the friends that we were. And then like one time Kelvin had asked me like, "Oh, you got some friends that's you think will be interesting, or some friends you think I like?" And I'm like, "No, like why would you ask me that?" So I found myself getting jealous. So then I stopped being in denial, you guys, and noticed like, okay, you crazy about him and you really, really like him. And what made me like attract myself to him even more, because he put Ethan in front of me. So like when I used to vent to him about things with like Ethan daycare and like the things that I'm going through with Ethan, like he would voluntarily like do things for me and Ethan. Like he would do things on his own without me even having to ask. And it's like, where I'm from, if a guy want to do that, he wants some ass. Like point blank, period. Like he wants some ass, or you giving him some ass. But with Kelvin, we didn't have none of that going on. So that was like shocking for me. Like, wait a second, like, is this a trap? Like, what do he want in return? He's sending me money. He asking how my kid is. Like, what he want in return for me? And that's what I had. That's the idea I had, because like where I come from, like that's just what it is. But when I noticed like he wasn't like that, that would make me even more interested in him. So fast forward, we talking, we dating, we like, okay, we're gonna be serious. We need to be more closer. Like we grown, we not about to do this long distance stuff. So then that's when we decided like it would be just smarter for me to move back to Springfield, because he already had like 3 jobs, and then I already lived there before. So I'm not like, unfamiliar with Springfield. Compared to him, if he would have moved to the city, it would have been like a bigger place, for him to get used to. And then on top of that, he would have had to look for another job, which would be very, very risky and hard at the time with his visa situation. So I moved to Springfield, and then we got an apartment together. And one thing, what I also like, I always been advanced for guys my age, because they never like pushed me. I always was the one that pushed them. But being with like Kelvin at the time, he was pushing me, and that's what like attracted me to him even more. So it's like we was attracted to each other on like a mental and spiritual level way before we was attracted to each other on like a sexual level, which is why I think our relationship is so like strong and like powerful the way it is, because we had that foundation of a friendship, and then that foundation of a friendship led to us having that mental and spiritual connection before sex was involved. So that's what also like drove me to like make this relationship work, because he was pushing me to be better for myself. And I went to dental school. I finished dental school. Kelvin pushed me to do that when I moved to Springfield. And yeah, and then from there we got married like a year later. So 2013 we got together. 2014 we got married. We went to the court. We got married, and then voila, here we are. 5 years, well, almost 6 years later, 2 kids later. And it all started from a little old town in Springfield, Illinois, at a university. So don't let your upbringing make you like not want to see the good in people or overlook the good in people, I would say. Because, you know, many of us have cultures who, oh no, you can't, you only could date this kind, or only could be with this person. If that person is treating you well and kind to you and you feel the same about them, give it a shot. Because if I would have kept that same stigma of how I was brought up, oh, Africans controlling, oh, Africans only want their wives submissive, oh, Africans got multiple wives and this and that, and they want if I would have kept that mentality and I would have put him in that same box, I would not be where I'm at today. So that's our story in a nutshell. I can go longer than that, but we're gonna keep it nice and sweet. Let me know if you have any questions or if I missed out on anything. And Kelvin is gonna give his part of how we met, and then we will be back with more of these videos, because this is like a really big topic that a lot of people ask about our relationship. But until next time, you guys, and like always, thanks for meeting with us on our channel.